Stuck at zero with your short-term rental? Watch Sarah go from overwhelmed host to marketing pro in 60 seconds. Meet Sarah, drowning in a sea of confusing marketing tactics. But everything changes when she discovers from zero to pro. She masters SEO, skyrocketing her visibility online. Social media becomes her secret weapon, turning scrollers into guests. Email marketing? Automated and personalized, working while she sleeps. With her own booking site, Sarah waves goodbye to hefty OTA fees. Sarah's not just growing, she's scaling, from one rental to an empire. Now Sarah's not just a host, she's a digital marketing pro with a thriving business. Ready for your zero to hero story? Get from zero to pro today and scale your rental empire.
Welcome back, my beautiful people, to STR News and Digest, your go-to place for everything related to STR, travel, and the business of hospitality. Today I got a short, podcast today. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Most of it's going to be talking about travel deals. We have officially entered the slow season, which is mid-August, September, and October. So right now, I've talked about when is the best time to travel, right? For me, it's either going to be in the month of May or the month of October or the month of or September and October, right? Those are for me the best times to travel. Number one, because of the weather. The weather's obviously much nicer, it is cooler, and also it's not as crowded as other times of the year, and you can get some great deals. I'm going to give you some great deals in today's STR News and Digest. So let's dive right in. And the first thing I want to talk about is Southwest Airlines. It feels like I've been talking about Southwest Airlines just about every STR News and Digest. They have been in the news for at least the last 6 months. And recently, Southwest has officially jumped into the package game with this new in-house platform. Now, I've been talking about this throughout the travel industry, Airbnb, Expedia, Booking.com. Everyone's trying to be a one-stop shop, and Southwest Airlines is no different. They are what they're currently doing, or what they did, was create an in-house platform. It's called the Getaways by Southwest. So travelers can now bundle flights, hotels, car rentals, and specific destinations like Cancun, Honolulu, New Orleans. And packages are currently starting around $250 per guest, and includes perks such as 2 free checked baggages. Because remember, Southwest Airlines has ditched a lot of their old policies. You now have to pay for baggages. You have to pay for premium seats, right? So, but if you book on their vacations platform, they're going back to giving you 2 free checked bags, 5 rapid rewards points for every dollar spent. Now, I've talked about their rewards program in the past as well. They had by far one of the, if not the best rewards programs in the travel industry, period, bar none. They've since changed it. One of the big changes is now the points expire. And I remember back in the day, I wouldn't fly Southwest super often, but whenever I went to Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest, I would fly Southwest. But man, the points that I got and the perks that I would get on the rewards program was phenomenal. And the cool part is they never expire, but today that's not the case. So right now, the offerings also comes with a no change fee and travel credits valid for 18 months if you cancel. And there's a lot of flexibility in it. So again, that's pretty big because again, it's new to Southwest, and the perks they're giving are really decent for an airline. Now, let's stay on these perks and airlines. Let's talk about Alaska Airlines. It's another airline that's completely overhauling their loyalty program. One of the things they're doing, they're going to overhaul that, but they're also adding Starlink to their planes. So Alaska Airlines has unveiled Atmos Rewards. It's a new loyalty program merging the mileage plan that they have had with Alaska Airlines now with Hawaiian miles, right? So if you're not aware, Alaska and Hawaiian have merged. They have a partnership. So now you can use both points in this new Utmost Rewards program. And for the first time, members can choose how they earn points, either by miles flown, dollars spent, or segments flown, which is huge. You know, it's flying to Hawaii, especially if you're on the East Coast of the U.S. It's a lot of miles, right? So you can figure out what works best for you, and what their goal here is to cater to the different travel styles. We all travel differently. We all have different styles. We all have different ways of using points. And I think this overhaul is another big plus for the traveler, because it gives you, or the power goes to you as to how you're going to use your points, right? And this all is going to start it's not now, it starts in 2026, as well as in 2026, when they install Starlink on their fleet, Starlink Wi-Fi is going to be free. But don't expect that to be on every plane. I think the full implementation of their Wi-Fi is not to take place until 2027. So it's a little bit. It's going to take a little bit. Now, the perk is also in partnership with T-Mobile. T-Mobile's been in partnership with a lot of airlines, and they're the ones that provide a lot of the Wi-Fi in some of these airlines. No different here. So again, pretty cool move on Alaskan Air and Southwest Airlines in terms of their loyalty programs that they're doing, and some of their overhaul of their programs. I think for the better. Again, with the exception of Southwest, I don't think it became better because what they had in the past, like I said, was phenomenal. But I get it, as a business, not sustainable. So now let's stay on the airlines and let's talk about JetBlue. Again, we're into the slow season, so you're going to start to see a lot of, discounted airfare. Allegiant right now has $33 airfares. If you book between now and I believe September 15th, so you're going to be able to fly to a lot of destinations for one way for $33. And then JetBlue is promoting with what they're referring to as the Brew Up a Fall Getaway, on the October thing. So you're going to be able to either go on their vacation program and get some huge discounts, or some one-way tickets to specific destinations. But if you go on there, like right now, JetBlue, let me check. I think the minimum is $55 is the starting rate for travel. Just to give you an example, from Boston to Atlanta is $79. From Fort Lauderdale to JFK is $59. So depending on where you're going, just go on their website and you're going to see there's a lot of routes that are heavily discounted right now, right? So take advantage of that. I preach this all the time. Try to change your travel habits, people, especially if you're looking to save money, right? Travel in what's referred to as the shoulder season or the off-peak season. Okay. Let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is tourism. Again, if you listen to the media, they make it seem like U.S. tourism is dead. I'm constantly seeing stuff on how horrible tourism is in Vegas, and they're blaming Trump, they're blaming this administration, X, Y, and Z. Again, based on my data, that doesn't come into play. Is the industry, especially in Vegas, down? Yes, it is. But we're entering in a slow season. It would have been down anyways, right? In addition to that, I don't know if you've been to Vegas lately, but Vegas is crazy expensive. It has gotten super, super expensive. I personally am not a fan of Vegas. Never have been though. So, because I don't gamble, I don't go to nightclubs. And that's pretty much what there is to do in Vegas. The few times that have gone to Vegas is not really to stay in Vegas. It's to go and visit the Hoover Dam, do some excursions, some off-road excursions, some hiking, all that stuff, but not really to spend time in Vegas. But nonetheless, let's talk about tourism in general. I talked about this country before, and they are breaking records, and I'm going to give you some crazy numbers. And it is the country of Japan. Japan, for the month of July, shattered records. They had 3.43 million foreign visitors in Japan, a 4.4% increase from last year. And last year they broke records. It is insane how popular Japan has become, and rightfully so. Japan is a beautiful country. Just my only caution with Japan, especially, and I'm specifically talking to U.S. tourists who never been to Asia. Keep in mind, it is a different world, people. They don't like loud people. They don't like obnoxious people. Most people don't, but anyways, they specifically don't like it. So be respectful of their culture if you go there. But man, by all means, visit Japan, visit Asia. It is beautiful. It is definitely a cultural experience that many people should experience in their lifetime. Now, here's what's interesting. Hong Kong, for example, and South Korea have seen a drop in tourism. In fact, they have seen a 10.4% drop in tourism, which is huge. A lot of that has to do with the recent natural disasters they had. There's had typhoons and fear of earthquakes. But nonetheless, they have seen a big drop, as well as mainland China. Now, me personally, what do I say about China? I am not a fan of China. So out of all the countries in Asia, that's one country that I specifically probably would never visit. But mainland China, that is, right? Like Beijing, for example. But if you're into that, now's the time to go. They're practically are giving away hotel stays in mainland China because they have seen a 25.5% drop in tourism there. So it's interesting how Japan, who is focused, and I mentioned this in other STR news, right? Japan is actively marketing their country, and they're actively welcoming tourists, right? Which is the total opposite of places like Spain and some countries in Europe who are not only not spending any money in tourism, but they're discouraging people from visiting them, which I mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it on this podcast as well. I think it's a huge mistake for their economy because, like anything else, once people get used to not visiting the place, so I think they're making a mistake. But I don't live there. I don't have to pay taxes there. So anyway, the last thing I want to talk about today, let me make sure this is the last. Well, no, I got a couple other things I want to talk about, but I talked about TikTok, Instagram, social media in general, how they have become search engines for travelers. There's one that I have not talked about, but I've been looking into lately because they're trending, and that is Pinterest. Interesting enough, Pinterest is becoming and trending upwards for people planning or as a planning tool, right? When they travel. there's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of interesting articles that you can find on Pinterest. And if you're looking to travel to a place that you haven't been to, out and you want to look at another form of information, highly recommend you look at Pinterest. They're making a big push in the travel sector with a lot of their articles, a lot of their pictures. You can actually create a very nice itinerary with graphics and everything on Pinterest. So if you and it's a great source of inspiration for places you're going to be traveling to, or want inspiration to travel to certain places. So if you haven't looked into Pinterest, I highly recommend you do. Now, a couple of last thing I want to talk about, especially since I'm in the vineyard. We did one harvest already. On Monday we'll start the second harvest, and just to promote the winery that are buying my grapes and using our grapes for their wine. It is called Horse Creek Winery. This is their company. It has that horseshoe, or the bottle has that horseshoe. This is one of the bottle of wines that was. This bottle of wine was produced from our grapes at our vineyard. So if you're ever in the South Georgia area, they're in every supermarket. They also have an online presence. I just want to promote them and give them a shout out because they are buying my grapes, and I greatly appreciate that. So that's that. The last thing I want to talk about is I'll remind you of, if you are a short-term rental operator, don't forget that we have a phenomenal ebook, and now we finally got it in PDF form. So if you don't want to pay for the interactive one, now you can buy it in PDF form, and it's I believe it's priced now at $9.99. Great value for that ebook. I think it's a must-have for every short-term rental operator. And obviously, I'm biased because myself and Lorena wrote it and created it. But I can tell you, from being in the short-term short-term rental industry for such a long time, I've learned a lot. I've learned what works, what doesn't work. And the key point to all of it is always going to be marketing. Because if you don't have a customer, then you don't have a business. And the way you get that customer is through marketing, right? The last thing I want to mention before I sign off is my new YouTube channel, Watt Hustle. If you haven't seen it, go to that channel, subscribe, but only subscribe if you're into e-bikes. If you want to learn about e-bikes, if you want to learn how you can save money with e-bikes, then go to that channel, subscribe. I put out a lot of content. That channel is actually blowing up. I think we've only been on definitely less than 40 days. And we have had, and let me see if I can find my numbers. I think we're over 800 hours of watch time. We have over 41,000 views, and we're currently about 111 subscribers, which those numbers may not mean anything to you, but in the YouTube world, to have over 800 hours of watch time in less than 40 days, that is a lot of watch hours. So those that are watching my videos, number one, thank you. Those that have been there and visited, thank you as well. But more importantly, those that have subscribed and have engaged with us on that channel, definitely thank you. Just like in this channel, I'm always preaching people. I'm always asking you guys to do one big thing, and that's comment. I don't care if you subscribe or not. I don't care how long you watch, but anytime you log in and you see something, just comment, say something. I don't care if it's good or bad. Doesn't matter to me. But what's important for these channels to grow is the engagement with the public or the viewers, right? I've been getting tons of engagement on that Watt Hustle channel. So again, grateful. I appreciate every single comment. I appreciate everyone that has watched, and I appreciate and I give thanks for everyone that has subscribed so far. Anyway, my beautiful people, that's going to be it for today. I have a lot of work to do in this vineyard, and I have a short period of time because I got to get back to Miami because I will be back here again for Labor Day weekend. I'm going to spend some much needed rest time during Labor Day weekend here with the family. But love you guys. Don't forget to comment. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. There's like 88% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Come on, people. Love you guys. See you in the next one.
Super.